This is a follower submission, and it's an AITA, and it goes like this. Am I the astronaut for serving revenge grocery store cake at my wedding day instead of the one my mother-in-law made? I, 32 female, recently got married to my longtime best friend. We had been engaged for 10 years prior, have a great relationship, and have always gotten along well with each other's families. I've never had any problems with my mother-in-law until our wedding. My mother-in-law owns a bakery and had asked early on to bake our wedding cake, but I, thinking that I had already had her doing so much for our big day, would give her a break on the cake and just order one from my favorite place in the next city over, about 60 miles away. I loved this bakery anyway and had purchased several cakes from them for various events in the past. Their lemon curd is my all-time favorite. When we got engaged, I made sure to involve my mother-in-law in all of the usual wedding planning activities along with my own mother, like dress shopping, venue visiting, and cake tasting, all of which went just fine until cake tasting. When we, myself, my maid of honor, my own mother, and mother-in-law went to sample cakes, I already knew that I would probably choose my favorite lemon curd, but I wanted to have the experience anyway. My mother-in-law was in a terrible mood the entire time, making rude comments to the employees and gagging and curling her nose at every flavor we tasted. 15 minutes in, she had already ruined the whole thing for the rest of us, so I made the executive decision to pack up and make the hour drive back home without placing an order. After we got home, I called the bakery and ordered my lemon curd wedding cake. I realized that not everyone likes lemon cake, but it was my day, so I got what I love. The day of our wedding arrived and the cake was to be delivered to our venue that morning. I arrived to the venue a few hours before the wedding and having my hair and makeup done and decided to pop my head into the reception area to check out the decorations. When I did, I was shocked to see that the cake on our table was not my lemon curd cake. I think we know what's coming. I thought the bakery had to have sent the wrong cake, so I asked my maid of honor to call the bakery and find out what happened while I finished getting ready. I wasn't happy about the situation, but I tried not to make a big deal out of it because at least I had a cake and only a few people would know if it wasn't what I ordered anyway. As my maid of honor spoke with a woman at the bakery, she got a look of shock on her face. As it turned out, my mother-in-law had also called the bakery after cake tasting that day. She had canceled my order just minutes after I had placed it and had apparently made my wedding cake herself without my knowledge. Without anyone's knowledge. I was livid. At this point, it was just about principle, and I have never been one to just roll over and take crap from anyone. I flat refused to serve her cake no matter what it took, so as a last resort, I sent my maid of honor to hide the mother-in-law's cake to her house. Luckily, she lived close, and then to the local grocery store to buy a simple cake that we would serve our guests in lieu of my mother-in-law's shady-ass cake. I don't know that a shady-ass cake would taste very good. During the reception, we simply skipped the cake cutting and served already cut cake to our guests at the end of dinner. I wish I could have seen the look on my mother-in-law's face when she entered the reception area and her cake was gone. She apparently decided to let the sleeping dog lay, at least for the time, because she didn't say a word to me or my husband, and I ignored her for the entire day. My husband couldn't have cared less about the cake or cake cutting, so he luckily had no idea what had happened or that his mother had just been such a devious B-word until I told him the next day. I know this could have caused a lot of wedding day drama and may still cause family drama between myself and my husband and my mother-in-law, but I was not about to let her win this and think that she could walk all over me for the rest of my life. So am I the asshole for serving revenge grocery store cake at my wedding just to make a point? Damn. Okay, so the question here is, am I the astronaut for serving revenge grocery store cake at my wedding day instead of the one that my mother-in-law made? Hell no. Hell no. And we talk a lot about setting boundaries early on. This is your wedding day. It's the time to set the boundary and say, yeah, no, you're not going to do this to me for the rest of our life. It's the beginning of a whole lot of things. Kids come into the picture. You've got a lot of family events that are going to be going on for the rest of your life. You're going to deal with this woman for a long, long time. So draw that boundary now. The only thing I don't like about this, and it goes on both sides, is that it was like a Cold War. There was no direct confrontation. Everything was done indirectly to each other in like shady backdoor ways. And I get it, OP, it was your wedding day, so you weren't trying to cause a scene at your own flippin' wedding. I get it and I respect it. You may have to get involved in some direct confrontation to solidify that boundary that you created here. Because right now, you're in a Cold War. It's like the US and Russia here, spying on each other and making clandestine moves. If you have a conversation and just be like, look, at this point, I know what you did, don't appreciate it, so I undid it, and please don't ever do that shit again, because if you do, no contact is always on the table. And guess what? I'd like to have kids. Guessing you would like to stay connected with us here and have an actual relationship. So don't pull any shit, Ma. Ma the meatloaf! NTA. We'll go ahead and make it official here. NTA. Not the asshole. What about mother-in-law? Let's talk about her for a second. It's been a while now, but we had another story a while back where it was the dress that the mom or mother-in-law did this to, called the freaking dress shop. Now, here's the cool part. Because it was a dress shop, they take it a hell of a lot more seriously. And they were like, yeah, this sounds sus. So they called bride-to-be and they were like, hey, somebody just tried to change this. It would be really cool if the cake shop did that. But, what are you going to do? A cake shop is a lot less on lockdown than the wedding dress shop. And they've probably seen a lot less bullshit. Well, hell, I don't know. Maybe. Mother-in-law, terrible human thing to do to your soon-to-be daughter-in-law here on her wedding day. Not to even talk about it, just to be like, I vetoed you for your own wedding. Just get used to it. Nah. Nay, I say. Send her to AskCon 1. She can RSVP with her plus AskCon 1.